Whew, when I say there's a lot of Lego video game news to talk about, I feel like that is going to end up being the understatement of the century, because this report is absolutely freaking bananas. Now, for those that don't know, there is a massive report that just got posted over on Nintendo Life. I will have a link for that down in the description. This one was by Ollie Reynolds and Jack Yarwood. Again, I don't really know as far as the credibility of Ollie Reynolds and his reporting previously on these sorts of things, but Jack was actually the person that wrote the Fanbyte article a while back that had a lot of insight and seemed to have talked to a lot of people that either were literally inside of TT Games or had very credible sources as to the information that he was reporting on in terms of crunch and everything that was going on behind the scenes. So that means that obviously, at least as far as Jack is concerned, it seems like a very credible source. Now, as far as these developments, there's a ton here that has been shared. So first and foremost, it confirmed the fact that the rumored Project Marley, which was supposedly going to be a Lego Disney game, was indeed a thing inside of TT Games. They were working on that particular title, and it was actually supposed to feature characters from different animations across all of the different Disney properties, like Jungle Book, like Nightmare Before Christmas, like Pirates of the Caribbean, Maleficent, Muppets, Frozen, Toy Story, Winnie the Pooh were the ones that were specifically named. There was also a little bit of details that we actually learned about what the game was supposedly going to be, which is going to be a giant hub world, and then there would be Diablo-like dungeons where you would dive into, I guess, the specific worlds, some of which I just previously mentioned, which is pretty freaking cool. Or at least sounded pretty freaking cool, because that apparently has now went ahead and been scrapped. And the reason for why it was scrapped was due to the fact that Disney Dreamlight Valley not only launched, but it has been a pretty massive success. That then ultimately put the proverbial final nail in the coffin of Lego Disney, or whatever it was going to end up being called. So that was Project Marley. Now, here's one that I honestly have never even heard of, because Project Marley was something that I had heard of as well. Project Cosmic was something that I personally have never heard of until this particular article. So apparently, there was a Lego game based on Guardians of the Galaxy, which was actually going to feature Marvel characters like Nova and Adam Warlock, and was actually in development for a whole 18 months before it was scrapped. Now, the reason why there is some credibility to this point is because in that previously mentioned Fanbyte article, we actually saw in the comments someone who was clearly either inside TT Games or used to work at TT Games going on ahead and dropping information that kind of coincided with this, saying that there has actually been 3 or 4 projects over the course of the last 4 years that have all been scrapped or canceled altogether inside of TT, which this obviously gives a bit of credibility to that. I kind of think that a Guardians of the Galaxy game would be fantastic, although I almost feel like the second Lego Marvel Superheroes game put them in a pretty prominent light as it is. So I don't really know if we needed a whole game dedicated just to the Guardians, but I would have liked to see something like that. And I almost wonder if there was a bit of a problem there in regards to the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game, was already being made as well. So do you really want to go on ahead and then release a Lego Guardians game when there's already a Guardians game released? It kind of shows me that maybe there was some sort of a communication problem going on within Marvel games or the people whom they contract out to do video games, because you would imagine that some of this information should probably be shared. If you know that one of your studios is working on a Lego Disney game, maybe you need to notify them that there's a game with a lot of similar qualities and a lot of similar elements being worked on by another development studio by the name of Disney Dreamlight Valley. So again, it seems like there was definitely some miscommunication on the exterior side of things as well. But that's not all. There was another Lego game that was actually scrapped, and that is a mobile version of Lego Worlds. Yes, that Lego Worlds. And it was supposedly titled Project Lego X, which was actually apparently initially being developed by Playdemic, but when they were acquired by EA, that project went back to TT Games and they were helmed to work on it. However, since that, it has been scrapped altogether, which again is kind of underwhelming, because I do think that maybe a Lego Worlds on mobile, or again, a really well done version of Lego Worlds, I think could be a terrific game. And I will continue to say that forever. But here's where things get very interesting, because apparently there was actually a non-Lego game in development at TT Games as well, which is very interesting because I don't remember the last time that they actually made a non-Lego game. They are obviously very well known and synonymous with Lego titles. However, there was a project called Project Rainbow Road, which was a non-Lego shooter that featured a bunch of Warner Brothers IP, like DC, Rick and Morty, Looney Tunes, and also Netflix's Stranger Things. Now, apparently this project was actually initially pitched as a Funko video game that then was pivoted towards being something that is non-Funko related, but unfortunately this project was scrapped as well. It is also interesting that, of course, some months later, several of the people that actually worked at TT Games went on to work at 1010 Games, and they are releasing a Funko game. So there's some interesting drama and developments there as well. Oh, but that is not all, because of course another thing that began to circulate as a possible rumor was the fact that there is a Lego Batman 4 game that is currently in development within TT Games, and the fact that there is a Mandalorian DLC being worked on. Now, when I say this, I know some people are like, well, what do you mean Mandalorian DLC? It's already in the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game. What are you talking about? I don't know what that accent was, but the point is, I'm more so saying that a lot of people obviously are assuming that I'm unaware of the DLC. Of course I am. When I say DLC in this particular context, I'm talking about actual levels, like brand new content beyond just character packs. There was a rumor that there were levels being developed for Mandalorian to release in tandem with the Mandalorian Season 3 to kind of celebrate that, and obviously go on ahead and give some more added content to Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Well, interestingly enough, it seems like that has been put aside as well. And when I say that has been put aside, I'm talking about both of these things have been put aside, both Lego Batman and the Mandalorian DLC stuff, which is absolutely crazy to me, because if we go on ahead and just discuss some of the elements that we have here, I mean, you're talking about Project Cosmic, which was a Lego Guardians of the Galaxy video game that was worked on for well over a year, scrapped. We're talking about this additional Funko slash whatever WBIP shooter game that was worked on quite far along, scrapped. We're talking about a port for Lego Worlds. We're talking about Mandalorian DLC levels that are scrapped, and also a DC Batman game that has supposedly been scrapped as well. Now, apparently the reason for why some of these projects, especially the two last ones that I talked about, have been put aside is because they are full steam ahead working on a giant large project in the form of Lego Harry Potter. Now, I know what you're saying, Blitz. Are you insane? Do you not know that there's already 2 Lego Harry Potter games? Yes, I'm aware of that. But apparently the reason for why they are remaking Lego Harry Potter is essentially giving it the same treatment that they gave Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. So it would be one ginormous game that would feature a plethora of elements and would tackle the entire Harry Potter saga from beginning to end in one massive experience. Now, for me personally, that sounds extremely disappointing. I think that if you're a Harry Potter fan, you got Hogwarts Legacy. That was about as great of a video game as you could ask for when it comes to Harry Potter. Yes, I understand it's not like based on the movies, and this probably would be based on the movies more so than what Hogwarts Legacy was. But for me personally, I just think that I would have much rather see this rumored Batman game or the Mandalorian levels for Lego Star Wars. But the point being is that it sounds like things are very, very chaotic over at TT Games, which is unfortunate because I'm certain that A, it's probably a very stressful environment to be in because you're just constantly dealing with pivot to this project, pivot to this project, pivot to this project, without ever having that moment of like both relief and excitement about people out in the public getting to see and most importantly experience and play the things that you're working on. So obviously that's definitely a bummer, and should all of these projects have been canceled or put aside, it's just really, really disappointing for people like myself, the fans, the people that are going to be playing these games, that we are not going to get a chance to check these out. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think about all of this? This is obviously an insane amount of information that was shared here, some really, really specific details. And again, yes, of course you could say, well, this is all still just a quote unquote rumor because it's not official and there's not an official source that came out and said all this. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye, everybody.